This is the Uncensored Voice. No bullshit, just real shit.
Discussing things that will stir the pot. Only here on the Uncensored Voice.
With your host, Ricky Midnight.
Sure money's not wasted like that $55 million. Hey guys, this is Ricky Midnight. If you subscribe to my channel, you'll be notified every single time I put a new video out there, or you can subscribe to my channel. That way you'll know when not to watch my videos. But either way, if you subscribe, you'll know. I made this channel as a former police officer so I could let people know what is happening in our government, not just in police departments, but everywhere else in the government. So I'll see you guys in this next episode. I hope you enjoy.
Sorry.
That's the definition of millennial anyway, is instant gratification.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I work with a millennial. There is a disrespect for an aging population. He has zero respect for myself, who is considerably older than him, and then our supervisor, who is older than me. And it's always about, the old people, that we have to fix what you guys messed up, and they don't have respect for the things that we've seen in our lifetimes, or the choices that were made, to avoid nuclear war, the fall of different places. They just don't have that, and I think today's society they don't have a respect for what knowledge the aging population of the U.S. has, and
that they will probably never have.
No,
unfortunately, because they've not had the experiences. They've not lived through the Cold War. They've not lived through things like this that we have. So they're probably never going to have those experiences. And but yet they make light of those experiences because of the softness that we have provided them, if you will, right? So what's the saying? And you probably know that saying: tough men make easy times make weak men, weak men make hard times, and then tough men have to go back out and do things, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I kind of think of it from a historical point of view. Okay, you forget forget where you've been, you lose sight of where you're going. And a lot of these things that they're taken for granted, the older generations have been through. The older generations fought so they could be able to sit there and say whatever it is they're saying and do whatever it is they're
Complain,
doing. And the older generations made it possible for them to be where and who they are.
The tough men made
exactly.
easy times.
Exactly.
And you know what? I think one of our big problems is, and it goes way back to like my nephew's age, right? They're in their 40s now. Discipline. You didn't discipline. Our asses were whipped because we did wrong. Our asses were sent to our bedroom without supper because we did wrong. So we learned discipline. We learned respect. These kids nowadays, and up to 40 some odd years ago, 41 years ago, it'd be a millennial. They were not taught those things. They were not taught respect. They were not sent to the room without their supper, and they grew up to be the way they are now. And that's where we are, So long after we're gone, and their kids, or maybe their grandkids, are going to be the generation that's going to have to be the tough ones. They're going to have to make it a society like we remember when we were younger. They're going to have to be those people.
Remember last time when we mentioned Idiocracy? Did you ever watch that movie?
I still haven't.
You got to watch it, dude, because I'm telling you, you're not going to get the tough.
Yeah.
We're kind of stuck.
You think we're getting into the softer?
I see that everything is being dumbed down. I mean, let's face it. Like I said, you lose sight of where you've been. You forget where you've been, you're going to lose sight of where you're going. Okay, you're going to make the same mistakes over and over and over. Cold War was about socialism. Cold War was about communism, as much as about not being nuked into oblivion. Okay, seriously.
Yeah.
Now, the colleges and everything are pushing socialism. They're pushing these same constructs that we fought so hard against, to give everybody their freedoms, and that they're heading that way. You have millennials that are, they're pretty much anti-old people.
Yeah, they're anti-old people.
I mean,
that's
seriously,
the best way to say it. Yeah.
Seriously, let's think about this.
And face it, guys, we're old people.
Well, think about this. Okay, in the late 1930s, 1940s, early 1940s, what was happening to old people, say, in Germany? What was happening to these special groups in Germany? Because it was so easy to label them, to hate them, to turn against them. Whenever we forget where we've been, we lose sight of where we're going. We're doomed to repeat the same mistakes
of the past.
over.
Yeah. I'm going to mention a movie here, and I'm sure you both have seen it. Logan's Run.
Yes. Yes.
You remember that movie well?
I don't remember it super well,
Okay.
you know, but it had John Schneider in it, so.
Who was John Schneider?
John
Singer.
wasn't
Country
the singer.
singer. Yes.
Oh, he was
Country
in it?
singer.
Yes.
Oh,
What was he in the movie?
John Schneider was the main character.
No, he wasn't.
No, I don't think John
No.
Schneider was
Wait,
in it.
which
I don't
movie?
remember seeing him in that movie.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking about a different
You're talking
movie.
about Bo Luke, but no, he was not in the movie.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think he was in
I
because
must
this.
have-
I think this was before John Schneider. But anyway.
Okay. I'll have
so
to look it up.
in Logan's Run, for all the people out there who have not seen Logan's Run, what it is society has become, well, pretty wimpy and dumb.
Okay, yeah, this
And,
isn't the right movie.
Their ancestors created a computer, probably took up, half the city, but it was underground, and that computer did everything for them. It dispensed food, it dispensed water, did everything. They were living underneath the dome because the world had gone to hell. That's what they told them. Well, at the age of 30, they had people who were like the secret police that would go out and kill you. If you hit 30, you're dead. You had to die. They had a little crystal on your hand that would turn red once you turned 30, and now you're considered an old person and you have to die. So nobody in that generation in Logan's Run had ever seen an old person because nobody's aged past 30. They've never seen gray hair. They've never seen much facial hair or anything like that. Nobody's aged past 30. So Logan decides, I don't want to die. He hit 30. He was a Sandman. He was a killer. He didn't want to die, so he decided he wanted to flee the city. He went to go to Sanctuary. Gets out of the city. He meets an old person, someone of probably around 65 or so, and he had white hair. He had a long beard. Now they kind of portrayed him as a feeble old man, but he brought him back to the city. Like, oh my God, look at what an old person looks like, everybody. And of course, everyone's like, wow, we get to age and become old, and we get to live our lives. So that's kind of what I think in society starting to become, or like.
I think that's what a lot of the millennials want.
I think so. Or did you see the Time Machine? What were those? The Eloy? Eloy. Yeah. I think they're becoming like the Eloy.
Morlocks and the
The
Eloy.
Morlocks and the Eloy. Yeah.
Okay.
H.G. Wells. Watch H.G.
Yeah,
Wells.
H.G. Wells. Yeah, that's one of the H.G. I can't remember what the movie. What?
It was called the Time Machine.
Was it Time
Yeah.
Machine? Okay.
There was the old one with. Gotta forget the guy, and then of course they did a remake, and the remake was really good. It was with that good-looking guy. What the heck is his name? Guy something is his name. Guy Pearce.
Okay.
And he made it, and it was actually not a bad movie. But yeah, watch the Time Machine. It's actually pretty good.
I'll
But
have to look it up.
yeah, in the Time Machine, the Eloi were a society of cattle, and the Morlocks were.
But see, the Morlocks were underground. The
They were
Eloi
underground.
was above ground. The
Eloi
Eloi
above ground.
lived, that kind of the really nice life.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice
Yeah.
life, easy life. And I think the Morlocks would come up
Come up
and,
to eat
and
them from
hunt
time
them,
to time. Yeah.
take them down, and make them dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not make them dinner.
They
Make
were.
them dinner.
Yeah.
Barbecue them.
They were dinner. Yes, yes.
So that was like, did you see that Star Trek? Did you ever watch the original series Star Trek with Captain
Yes.
Kirk? The only one that was really good.
I
Yeah.
did, but I didn't see it a lot.
Did you see the one where they went to the planet? It was the 60s one where they go to the planet and they're all singing, the 60s music, hippie. They were all hippies and stuff like that. And they went to Eden. I think it was called Eden, on the way to Eden or something like that. Yeah. That was kind of like, it's all happy-go-lucky until they, things went bad. I mean, so you want socialism, and it's going to be all happy-go-lucky times till we collapse. Our economy collapses, and there's bread lines. You're waiting in line for 3 or 4 hours to get a little bit of bread that's barely enough to feed yourself, much less your family.
Well, and see that goes back to my people forget where we've been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look at all the prices. Look at how everything's going up. Look at how difficult it is to get stuff resupplied.
Mm-hmm.
Resupplied. I got a car, brand new car, nice car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Toyota. Anyway, now I was told that if I got one in like one of the colors I would wanted, mine's white. Now I would have loved to have one in blue or green or Even I like that the desert tan.
That's a cool color.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. But I think it would take about 6 months to get it in, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean that yeah. So I mean we're getting there. We're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
and
of-
another, by the way, another ship went down with cars on it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the second one in just
Yeah.
a couple of weeks.
So that's kind of that
Strange.
raises an eyebrow.
That's what I
You
said.
know, are they going down on purpose?
That's what I said. I was like, again? This just happened. Yeah. it's the
And
second
before
time.
that, I mean, that was a very rare occurrence, right? I mean, not that I've been following, but I haven't been hearing about that.
But
so.
then again, whenever you have all this backup, because they still got the ships waiting to be unloaded, don't they?
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
what
mean-
I've been hearing. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, they're probably being forced to stay out
maybe
there
they're
longer.
just sitting out there too. But how does it? Unless you run aground or you hit a reef or something,
know.
how does it happen? You're just sitting out there.
Storm, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this second one, they said that there was some kind of storm with a huge wave that
Possible,
knocked
okay.
the ship on its side, and that's they lost all those cars in the yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
So, but this is the second one within like a month, a month and a half.
Because I
something
would
like that.
imagine that if they're out there, they're moving, they're going from point A to point B, and they're not having to just kind of sit there and go around in circles. That they can use their radar and everything.
And see things coming.
they can
yeah.
see things coming, and then they can move out of the way.
Why
They
is
can
it?
make sure they're not in the way.
Why is it we can't lose any ships that have soy on it? I mean, soy. I mean, that's, don't lose a ship with the nice cars. Have those go down.
Yeah.
Soy. My
too
my
funny.
mom made me a soy burger one time. She said, I'm gonna cook. I didn't know it was gonna be soy. She thought she'd be smart and trick me into eating soy, but me and my wife. So she cooked, and the burger looked good, right? And I made a podcast on this the other day. Well, I'll go about that in a sec. She made me this burger. It looked good. I put my tomatoes on there. I put some pickles. I put some jalapenos. I like my jalapenos. Put my jalapenos on there. A little ketchup. A lot of mustard because I have diabetes. Can't have too much ketchup. So I put a lot of mustard on there. I go to bite in it. I bit in it. Tasted like biting into Play-Doh, burnt Play-Doh. Right? Oh God! I spit it in the trash can. Didn't swallow it. I spit it in the trash can. I threw the burger in the trash can. I said, "Why would you do that?" She goes, "Oh, I thought you couldn't tell the difference." What? Dead animal flesh and then beans? I mean, soy is beans, right? I mean, of course, I couldn't tell the difference in that. Did not like it. But that's what I'm saying. Why can't a soy ship go down instead of a car go down with, really nice cars? I mean, wasn't the first one didn't it have Rolls Royces and other cars like that?
They said very expensive vehicles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no, I'm gonna say yeah.
Teslas.
Oh well, no, the Teslas would have been ruined completely. Just get
Yeah.
water on them, That brings me up another question. I was thinking the other day, how good is the seal on the Teslas? Because the battery's at the bottom. So how good is that seal? Doesn't it wear out after a while? It's like everything else. And once it wears out and water gets in there, doesn't it just ruin your whole damn car? It's gone.
Well, in Texas, we flood.
Yeah.
And I've seen a whole lot of Teslas on the
Yeah,
road.
I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
Teslas. Yeah.
Lots of Teslas.
Well, thinking about it down at the beach, you got the salt water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what does salt do to metal? Almost any metal.
Yeah, but
or as far as any
I don't
plastic.
think very many people are going to take the car Tesla. Now, if they come out with the truck Tesla, they'll be taking that to the beach because it's supposed to be a really nice four-wheel drive, right?
Well, I mean,
I can see that.
A lot of people live at the beach. Well, people who live at the beach.
Yeah, okay,
live
just
down
living
there.
in Corpus.
Yeah, just
living in Corpus area,
that's what
Port
I'm saying.
Aransas or
Just
something.
living down around
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
Well, because salt does eat through.
It
I mean, it's one of the
corrodes
big
it.
things
Yeah.
that we had an issue with when I lived
Yeah.
in
And
the
then-
northeast
Right.
area
And
of
then
the
what do they
US.
put on the roads in the north?
Yeah, you
east?
put a lot of salt in the
Salt.
north.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
a lot of salt.
exactly.
We used to have to do like
Oh, yeah.
underbelly scrubs and
Yeah.
that you can actually get the tough liner
Mhm.
that you have for your bed.
Spraying, yeah.
do
spray
the
it
under,
underneath
yeah,
there,
because
undercoating
of the,
all the time.
the
South
salt.
Seinfeld, I know what happens. you have to get it done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I got a cramp too, just like you got the other day. It hurts, doesn't it?
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking, if things keep going the way they're going, they're trying to force us into getting Teslas, right? I can't afford a damn Tesla. I mean, I can barely afford my gasoline vehicle, But let's say I could afford a Tesla, and I get a Tesla. How long are they going to last? When you have your water and things like that. But not only that, like you mentioned earlier, how the hell am I going to charge it if everyone else has one?
Yeah. Well, and that racism thing that we talked about?
Oh, the highway. Yeah.
How is it not racist to force people that have no access to buy a Tesla, an electric car?
Wouldn't? Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that.
I
It would
mean-
be racist to say
Because they have no ability to buy one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're on welfare, you don't have $100,000 to buy a Tesla.
Well, no, if you're on welfare, the taxpayers, you, me, and him, are going to have to buy people Teslas.
I mean, how
We're
are
gonna
we
buy 'em.
how are we going to do this? Or the middle class who can't
Yeah.
afford it. I mean, that's my question: is how isn't that racist?
Well, the middle class is going away.
Well,
It,
yeah.
it's starting to die. Thank you, Joe. The middle class is starting to die, and we're now going to be the poor.
Well,
you know?
isn't that an aspect of the socialism that we were talking
Yeah,
about?
we can't have middle class.
Because there's no middle class. There's the bourgeois, and then you have the workers.
Okay, we're talking 1984 here, right?
No.
We're talking.
We're talking socialism.
Yeah, we're talking
the bourgeoisie.
socialism.
No, I'm talking about the movie 1984.
But no. Yeah.
Wasn't that?
No,
wasn't that-
it may
yeah.
have been, but
Yeah.
but from everything that, like I said, Cold War,
Yeah.
from everything that we were taught, there's no middle. There's either the bourgeois, the people that have the big palaces and everything,
Yeah.
and then there's the working class, the people that they struggle, they might be able to get a house, but more than likely they're just living in some cheap
Shantytown.
shanty.
Or something,
Well,
yeah.
not necessarily, but maybe some cheap.
Oh.
They might actually have like an apartment or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, one-bedroom apartment, and you get 3
One-bedroom
families
apartment,
living in there. Yeah.
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 I don't know. It's odd that this would be so accepted.
But see, if we went back to that, then the working class, they wouldn't need a Tesla. It would just be the bourgeois that would get the Tesla.
So what would the working class do? They'd have to walk.
No, it's public
Or
transit.
public transportation. That's
There
right.
you
Take
go.
the buses, the electric
There you go.
buses.
Take the buses, and if they live out in the
Yeah.
country, take the horse.
Why don't we have the what were those cars? Those ones with the electric on top. The trains, the
trolleys? The trolleys,
Yeah, but
yeah.
what are they called? Electric trolleys? Weren't they called something different?
I don't know.
But like they have in San Francisco. Why don't we just have the trolleys here? We have a type of trolley, which is gasoline trolley here in San Antonio. But why don't we have the electric trolleys where we have electrical lines going? Where people are they afraid people are going to tap into electric lines and steal the
I don't know.
electricity?
This is Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, if we had a light rail system, which is what you're talking about, it would be so much better. But
Yeah.
we are against that here, and not me, but they don't want that here.
They wanted to do it between San Antonio and Austin.
Right.
Yeah,
but they don't want it here. I mean, they want to preserve the way it looks downtown for the tourists and the Riverwalk, which is, by the way, man-made.
I would think they would actually increase tourism.
You would think so, because you wouldn't have to stay in the city. You'd be able to stay in an outerlying area
you
and
didn't
then
have to
take
find
it
a-
in.
Yeah.
But I think that they feel like that would be an economic impact, because if the city is considered like any other place,
Okay.
if some place is considered a resort, you can actually add a resort fee onto the hotel bill.
Okay, guys, I got this. Think about this. How long has it taken them to do the construction on I-10, on 281? Anybody? How many years?
They're not done.
Exactly.
It's never-
Exactly. Thank you.
But
That's the reason they don't want it.
The reason why it's not done is because you have all these people. I'm just going to use a round number here: 10,000 workers who work in the highways and stuff
Yeah.
like that. If you're done with everything, what are they going to do? Twiddle their thumbs. They have to have continuous construction to keep them employed.
Now imagine that in the middle of downtown San Antonio, at the Riverwalk, in the middle of all those businesses and of our tourist area. Imagine that. Okay, that's the reason I think a lot of the people down there, a lot of them don't want it.
I don't know.
I think.
I think it would be a neat idea.
It may be a
Have
neat
you ever
idea.
been to
but-
Denver?
No.
Okay, so I went to a conference and I stayed outside Denver, like in Aurora, and there's a light rail, and it's like $9. You can buy a pass, like a whole day pass, and ride it as many times as you want. And so there was nothing out there where we were, and so we would catch the light rail and then take it into Denver, and the whole city is structured around this light rail, and they have cobblestone streets, and where the old town is preserved, and it didn't affect it aesthetically. So you still attracted tourists. You still had, the things that people come to visit for. They want to see downtown. But they had just the best light rail system. And it was just so amazing because I paid $9 for a day, but you could buy a 30-day pass, for like $20. And people were riding it into the city, much like a subway, right? They were riding it to work into the city, and then back. And it was so fast. An hour transit by car from where we were staying to Denver took about 11 minutes. 11 minutes.
Nice. That's nice.
On the light rail.
So when we're talking light rail, we're talking about like the subway where it's actually on tracks, right?
Yes.
It's electric.
And it's got the
car.
electric wheels at the top, and it
Okay.
runs. It's like a train, like a subway car train.
So it had electricity overhead.
And there's electricity overhead.
okay.
Yeah. And so, and I mean, everything is structured to accommodate this. And I mean, it just was, and it stops at different points within the city, and their streets were more narrow than even ours are down there, by around the Riverwalk, and cobblestone and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it just worked. It was the best. I mean, I thought it was amazing because we didn't have to have a car. We, could pay just a minimal amount and ride it as many times as we needed. So we'd ride it from where we were into the city, go have dinner, and then turn around and ride it back. And I mean, the congestion wasn't there. It
And
took
did
us
they-
11 minutes to get there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it was that fast.
And did they run 24/7?
Yes. Uh-huh. They
That's
run
nice.
24 hours. And so, I mean, I thought it was great, but I don't see that happening here. So, unfortunately, I think, people here they don't want it. They fear change.
You know what? Instead of socialism, I vote for that. I want to have the light rail here.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, if I can get to Austin, it takes me the way I drive, because I actually obey the speed limit. It takes me
I heard about
I don't know
that.
about about 65 minutes to get to Austin, probably. And if I could get there in like 10 or 12 minutes, I would be a very
Yeah.
happy fella.
It's awesome.
That's
know?
me driving. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. See. Oh, yeah. Right. With your F-250 gas guzzler,
Yeah.
fossil fuel eater, the dino fuel.
See, if we just opened up production in Texas, and if the Biden administration would open production in Texas, which is largely privately owned rigs, right, or they're owned by the state. Most of the oil wells in Texas are owned by the state. Then you have those few that have the rights on their own land. If you opened up production here in Texas and only let people with a Texas residence,
I like that.
or driver's license with
Yes.
your proof of residency right on it, we don't have to worry about their nonsense in Washington.
That's racist.
If
Yeah.
it was me,
That
if I
is-
was
that is.
Abbott,
That's racist because you're requiring an ID.
no, okay.
You're
Hey,
requiring an
yeah.
ID.
But let me say
ID 's
this.
Yeah, but the
racist.
poor people can't afford IDs.
but here's
They don't know how to get them either.
here.
Oh, no,
Well,
there's-
here's my thing. I would say, "F you, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
We're going to take
You know
care
what?
of Texas."
Okay, so if we did that, then we'd be seceding, right? That's what that would
Yeah.
be, right?
Who the hell cares?
Okay, so then we don't get
Pervy Uncle
I-
Joe.
don't get me wrong.
Whatever.
I'm for it, right? The only thing that I don't like about that is if, let's say, China decided they wanted to attack Texas, and we've now seceded from the government. We don't want anything to do with the rest of the 49 states. We
They-
can't defend ourselves against China.
They
We're way
just
too
they just
small.
send a bunch of people to the southern border.
Unless it's a
and we're screwed.
conventional war. Well, yeah. Unless it's a conventional war, then we shoot them all. But that's a different story.
No, they just. I'm
If it's not a
serious.
conventional war, we don't have the air force to
through the southern border. I'm serious.
You know-
just through the southern border.
I think we're more heavily armed than anybody else.
No, I agree. If it's a conventional war, right? But if they have to close down every single military base, because that's federal, and if we say screw you, Biden, and I definitely want to do that.
He ain't
But-
going to do that.
But
Yeah,
look,
we're
look
not.
at
We're not. So
yeah.
I mean, you have your impacts where it's not a good idea.
But look
then
at-
you have the rest where.
But look at
yes.
Ukraine. Look at Ukraine.
Yeah.
You mess with Texas, you're gonna get Ukraine.
Yes. Oh no,
Because,
I agree.
Because I mean, you
Yeah.
got.
Oh,
you
you're
got, You
right.
got Granny out there with a key,
Yeah.
and I'm
but,
serious.
But they also have
Don't-
airplanes, helicopters, surface-to-air
You know
missiles,
what?
Yeah.
things like
you know
that.
what? Them Ukrainians are kicking ass. Okay.
Yeah.
Any motherfucker that comes here to Texas, they're gonna get Ukraine.
Well, and we do have, our National Guard people do have a certain amount of artillery, so
Yeah.
to speak. But I just
I
think
saw
that
Rambo.
I think that the threat, what is he going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to
Yeah.
do? You're an impotent, senile
Do you remember when he?
old man.
Do you remember when he threatened to nuke us? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was just an offhanded moronic
Yeah.
comment,
What?
but he said, I don't have to. What do you say? I don't have to scare you. I can just nuke you, or something like that.
Oh, who's that? What?
Biden,
Biden
said that.
said
oh,
that.
Biden? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, about Texas.
Wow.
That's why I'm like, come down here. I want you to come. Come,
Why doesn't
take it
anybody
from
know
me.
that? Why doesn't anybody know that? I've never heard it.
You never heard
That's
that?
because
I've
the
never heard that.
media isn't going to
They made it
sensationalize
hush
that.
hush.
You know,
Wow.
they're going to put that on the DL.
I thought
Let's
everybody
be real.
knew that.
No, and I'd listen to talk radio. And
I thought
didn't know
everybody
that.
knew that.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
He
Yeah.
said, I could just nuke you.
Yeah, but yeah. It's,
Yeah. Like I said, you know.
But see, then again, he owns the DOJ. He is the DOJ, and I mean they've been politicized forever, ever since Lord Barack. You know, they've been doing their bidding. I mean, seriously, they've been neutered. They're nothing
Of
but
course.
a wing of the DNC anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the federal agencies are like that. You got the EPA, you got everybody else. You try doing something like that, he's going to send every Fed in the world down here. And yeah, it's just going to get ugly.
Well, other than what I mentioned there, like say China attacked us, if it was a war, other than something like that, I think we could do it. We're big enough state. We can produce our own oil. We can produce our own fuel, our own petrol. We can make our own gasoline. We can make our own diesel.
Yep.
We can make everything else. We can grow our own crops. We have plenty of steers. We also have queers, but we have plenty of steers. We're independent. Matter of fact, we used to be. You know that, right? We used to be independent. We weren't part of the United States. We didn't have statehood, and we were making it on our own. You know.
Well, maybe our governor can figure out a way around some of this federal Bravo Sierra.
Yeah.
And maybe they can get that done. I mean, it's like the building the wall.
Yeah.
Isn't he, building parts of the wall
On
now?
private property, yeah, he's building the wall on private property, and the government has no say-so in it.
Exactly.
That's right.
Federal, no, because it's on private property.
Yeah.
Well, we could pump it here and refine it in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
And then put it on the barges and send it throughout Texas.
Yeah.
It's what we've done before.
And screw
We
everybody
don't
else.
need the 49 bitches.
And just imagine what that would do to the gas prices.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, boy,
we can
they're
regulate that
low.
here.
Yeah. But now here you go. Let's go here, okay? Because the talking head Jen Psaki.
Sucky?
Psaki.
Jen Sucky?
Yeah. She said that there's like 6,000 or some number of
Oil pumps,
oil
wells,
areas
yeah.
that aren't being explored, that aren't being used. Okay, you heard about that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Any thoughts on that? Come on, I have my thoughts. I'm just trying to throw it out there because that's all going to be part of this gas prices and everything. Because that's what they're using as an excuse right now. Is look, they're not developing, they're not doing anything like
They're
that.
idiots.
I think that the way to solve this problem that we're all having right now is, asshole, just go ahead and open the fucking pipeline. Problem solved.
But see that
100%. You're welcomed.
But see, that was kind of the
Amen.
point I was getting at, because his big excuse for not doing the pipeline is, well, it's going to take 5 years. God, I can't do my what's that old guy from the cartoon, the one that's always chasing Chris around?
Herbert, right?
Herbert.
Yeah.
Every time I hear him talk, it kind of reminds me of that old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the dog that he kind of
little dog. He's
creepy
dragging the dog along.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of just
Hey,
just the
Chris.
speech.
I have a newspaper in here.
Yeah, just the speech pattern. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So, the other day, did you hear him insult the Irish? On St. Patrick's Day, he insulted the Irish. If I said this, right, I may be lazy, but I am a Mexican. Okay, that would be insulting to Mexicans, right? Okay. So he said, "Well, I'm not. What do you say? I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid."
Hey, maybe that's
Did
the
you hear him say
reason that
I
Beta,
didn't.
Maybe that's the
Yeah.
reason the beta male Beto kind of broke away from the woke culture and said that he's not up for this critical race theory crap.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, because I heard that on like one of the talk shows, one of the nighttime 5:50 a.m. Yeah, anyway, they were mentioning that Beto actually came out and said that he's not up for the critical race
Theory crap.
that it shouldn't be taught.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't believe that. If we talked about flip-flopping,
I think
his political stance is fluid.
I think he's
I mean,
pandering.
that's-
He's probably
that's-
just pandering.
Yeah, like I said, if we're
Yeah.
going to talk about gender
Well-
fluidity, his political stance is
His-
fluid.
Well, he
Gender
is,
or
Today this,
Yeah.
politically
today
fluid.
that.
Hey, that's a
Yeah.
new term.
Right?
A new term
Politically
here on the
fluid.
Uncensored. That's-
Yeah.
Uncensored Voice has coined a new term, politically fluid.
yes,
That's right.
You heard it here
Sometimes
first.
I'm a Democrat, sometimes I'm a Republican,
Yeah.
and many times I'm a liberal.
Yeah.
Right
Well-
there, you go. That's a.
Well, not that I'm.
That's
pro
all Bobby
Beto.
O'Rourke right
Yeah.
there.
Bobby, yes,
I will
Bobby.
not call him Beto because he
No.
is not a Hispanic.
Well,
not
the only
Hispanic,
reason I
yeah.
do that is because every time I say that, I kind of mention kind of like the what is that? The little what the hell? The
Leprechauns?
Lucky Charm leprechaun with
Yeah.
the sombrero and the
Yeah.
mustache.
I have not seen that.
The ad for Lucky Charms. The cereal.
Yeah, but he doesn't have
No,
sombrero.
put a sombrero on him and
Okay.
then call him Bobby Beto O'Rourke.
You know who has a sombrero?
Who's that?
would be that little mouse. What the heck's his name?
Speedy
Speedy
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez?
Is-
No.
Yeah, Speedy Gonzalez. Yeah, that's who it is. I'll say Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But see,
Speedy
Speedy.
and his
Gonzalez,
cousin
yeah.
Manuel
Yeah,
from
but-
California.
Yeah, but see, Speedy wasn't Irish.
Yeah.
and-
No, he wasn't Irish.
Yeah.
No.
But the Lucky Charms dude, yeah, he's Irish.
Yeah,
He's Irish.
yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
it.
believe anything he says. He
No,
opens
no,
his
no.
mouth and crap rolls out.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
Beta.
Yeah,
That's Beta.
but I didn't know that he is now politically fluid. I
I
did
didn't
not
know
know
that.
that.
Well, I think just on that issue, and
Yeah.
I think maybe that's because he looked in the mirror and said, "Wait a minute, I'm white."
So-
I mean,
Everybody knows. God, you know.
I mean,
my
that could
mommy
be.
and daddy said I could be any nationality I want.
But wait a minute, even if I change my name to make it Beto, then I'm really not. Wait a minute, I'm still white.
Yeah.
I'm still Irish.
They were making fun of him on talk radio because they were saying, like, what does he actually do? He lives off of his father-in-law's, because they're very wealthy and have lots of money. And he lives off of that. He actually doesn't have a job. He doesn't do anything. He just waits for the opportunity,
He
know,
panders. He
like
panders.
Montgomery Burns, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For,
yes.
Yeah.
waits for the opportunity to inject himself into political fluidity.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's kind of what they were saying. That's why the talk radio guy was saying, I want you to come on. Tell me why you're saying all these things and how you're going to be the change that Texas needs from Governor Abbott. Come and tell me. But he won't debate him because he doesn't have a leg to stand on. And that's the thing. That's why those talk show hosts were like, what does he actually do? He doesn't even have a job. He lives off of his father-in-law's millions. That's his job.
Because see, once you're running past the talking points, he's done. He's done. I mean, that's all he
Well,
has.
I mean, yeah, there's no depth there.
No.
I mean, we can all pick up, with your phone or whatever and look at,
But look at
some-
all these little millennials or whatever running around with the Beto.
Oh, God, it drives me
sticker,
crazy.
yeah.
I saw somebody at my job the other day who had that sticker on the back of the vehicle, and it said, if you voted for Trump, stay at least 6 feet away from me or whatever it was, something ridiculous. And I just thought, how ridiculous is this?
I'm telling you.
That a bunch of officers, these are officers' vehicles that I'm walking past, right? And it's the only one in the lot, and it says that. And I just thought, wow, okay.
But you
You
know
know-
what? If you voted for Biden, pay for my gas.
Exactly. You know what? If I could get away with it, I'm just saying, I would love to get, like I said, the Lucky Charms dude with the sombrero and the mustache, and say cultural appropriation is okay below it, and then stick it right above the Bobby O'Rourke sticker.
You know that actually, I can Photoshop that. I can do that.
Right? Right.
I can do that.
I mean, that's what Bobby O'Rourke is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cultural appropriation. That's the reason why he
That
took
is.
the Beto, is so that he would be more palatable to the Hispanic community, which is, I mean, that is Texas,
Yeah.
especially South Texas.
Well, El Paso, I think that's where he's right. Isn't that where he's from?
I think
he's
so.
from. Yeah, he's from deep south.
No, isn't it Del Rio?
Is it okay? Del Rio.
I think it's Del
Yeah.
Rio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
So
So
that's why though, because it's really because they're so close to the border.
Yeah. So then
And they
he
really don't like him there.
Could, so then he could then he thinks that makes him relatable. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Well, yeah.
Because whenever you change your name to something like that, then hey, it doesn't come out as Bobby the O'Rourke.
what
doesn't have
kills
that-
me is that Hispanics don't find that racist.
Well, because
because he has a D.
the only people that I can think of that find things racist would be, well, black people or people who sympathize with black people as far as he's my friend, and because he's my friend, I want to say that he's right when he says it's racist. That's the only people I can think of.
Well, let me put this into the argument here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're black and you have a white friend, but you use the N-word, is it okay for your white friend to use the N-word?
It's not okay for either one of you to use it
Okay.
because it's an insult.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
they allow him to culturally appropriate that, which would be the same as you or I saying the N-word,
Yeah.
right? Because it's cultural to them. They consider that cultural.
Well, see, I go back to the Fred Sanford or Jefferson or George Jefferson.
George Jefferson.
Yeah. Okay. So if George Jefferson says you're a honky, it's funny. Everybody laughs. If Archie Bunker says something bad to George Jefferson, like you're the N-word or you're this or that, all of a sudden you're racist. Why is it okay for George to insult Carol O'Connor, that was his name, to insult Archie, but Archie not to insult George? Why is that okay?
But I think a lot of that is, like I said, it goes back to the woke culture and all this other crap. Because let's face it, whenever we had all the mostly peaceful protests, they had black officers standing in line. Mm-hmm. Okay, they did. Mm-hmm. And then they had these stupid white liberal POSs sitting out there telling them that they are what is it, marshmallows,
Uncle Tom's.
Uncle Tom's. They're telling them, they're telling them all this stuff. They're calling them every name in the book and telling them they're not black enough, but yet they're the ones out there putting their ass on the line to protect the black communities. They're black officers putting their ass on the line to protect the black communities, the brown communities, and every other community. Mm-hmm. And yet they have these stupid white liberals getting in their face telling them they're not black enough.
Well, did you guys see that? I think it was in Dallas. A guy was heading home. It was kind of underneath an overpass, right? And it was jammed. It was Antifa, I believe it was, right? Antifa was out there, and Antifa was blocking the road, and a guy gets out of his truck, and there was an officer there, a uniformed officer, I think it was two of them, and he gets out of his vehicle and just as pissed off as he can be, he walks up and he says to the officers, you need to freaking clear this out and get these assholes out of here. It's an illegal protest. I need to get home. I need to go home and get some supper and blah, blah, blah. And he's yelling and stuff. The black guy in Antifa, and Antifa's not a black community, like Black Lives Matter. It's mostly white, I guess. But the black guy comes and points a gun and puts it in his face. The officer standing right there ignores it, like it never even happened. He's so afraid to offend the black person by saying you're under arrest for doing that, or so. To me, it just pisses me off that the black community thinks, well, I can get away with it, and they can get away with it. Yeah. Right. So it just pisses me off. And don't get me wrong. I have a lot of black friends. I used to have a black girlfriend when I was young, so I'm not a racist. But it's the new thing to. The black people are, they feel like they have autonomy over everything, and they don't.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a black community. I think it's just a portion of communities
it's just
in
a
general.
portion of them. Yeah.
Because, it doesn't matter how you group people. There's going to be good and bad. Mm-hmm. And, we got plenty of people out there they're willing to put their ass on the line, and they do. Yeah. And, I think that it's a portion of it. I think a lot of it is where they're constantly being told, and it goes back to that labeling. It goes back to being told you're the victim, you're the victim, you're the victim. Mm-hmm. It goes back to that. If you're told you're the victim long enough, if you're told you're the victim enough, what are you going to be? And if you're told this person over here is the victimizer, what are you going to see?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I completely...
You're going to see evil.
It's a programming of the mind.
It is.
It's a programming of the mind. And I think a lot of that programming of the mind is because of the media, the liberal media is forcing us down these kids' minds or into their minds, down their throats, and that's all they're seeing all the time.
Right. And I think a lot of it is the public education, the liberals in public education.
It's kind of like the mask thing. These kids are being told in school, if you don't wear your mask here in school and at home, you're going to kill your mommies and daddies because you're going to give them COVID. So you need to wear the mask. Be a good little boy and girl and wear your mask, or you're killing your parents if you don't. And that's why I see a lot of these kids wearing masks on their skateboard by themselves, skating down the street. Nobody's around them, but they're wearing their mask. They're just programmed to wear your mask. Wear your mask.
So they're traumatizing the kids.
They're traumatizing these poor kids. And that ticks me off. And then I think we were talking about the other day how schools said that you don't have the right, as a parent, you don't have the right to get into our curriculum. We decide what our curriculum is, not you. That's
where the parents need to start taking the shit back. They really do. They need to start making their voices heard. And unfortunately, as we've seen from pervy Uncle Joe, he's more than willing to send his weaponized feds in, because didn't the wasn't it the DOJ that decided to criminalize people who spoke up at school board meetings? Because how dare you disagree with us? We feel threatened.
Yeah, they drugged that woman out from the last one. I think they drugged her out when she started to speak up.
Yeah.
They said, "Ma'am, you need to get at her." And didn't they knock her down or something like that?
I
The
don't know.
officer,
I don't
think
know.
it was something like
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is, people are allowing this to go forward.
Mhm.
People need to understand. They need to know what the hell they're voting for. They need to pay attention, because a lot of the same people that are bitching about this are the ones that voted for it,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
or the ones that didn't bother to show up come election time.
Yeah.
They got to, number one, get their ass off the couch and go. Number two, they need to educate themselves so they know what they're getting, because this is what they voted for. All them morons that voted for pervy Uncle Joe, that they've allowed him to weaponize against them being able to weigh in on the education of their own children.
Yeah.
Don't you find it kind of interesting? Okay, so we were under England's rule,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to take that back and kick their ass and show them that they weren't over us. They're not overlords. But you see this administration using all tools to control the masses.
To become overlords.
Yes,
again.
to become overlords again. Now, we have the Second Amendment because we know that with power, with absolute power, comes absolute corruption,
right.
And so our forefathers, they foresaw an issue where the people might have to rise up against the government, right?
But see,
And so, don't you find it strange how he's using? I mean, we're seeing that.
But see, then you're getting back into the one aspect that I talked about earlier, of if you forget where you've been, you're going to lose sight of where you're going.
Well, yeah.
It is they have to be taught. They have to be taught. Instead, what they're being taught is, well, let me see, Andrew Jackson was evil. All of our forefathers were evil.
Lincoln was evil.
Lincoln was evil.
Even
yes.
though he
Freed the
wrote
slaves.
he wrote into it to free the slaves.
Proclamation
Yeah.
of Emancipation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But he was
He
evil.
was an evil man
because
Yeah.
he was a white male.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
he was just evil man.
So if he was
Toxic
black and freed the
masculinity.
slaves, he would be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he would with statues, and they wouldn't want
Yeah.
to tear him down.
Actually,
yeah.
I think he man-spread on the horse one day, so that they probably got him for that too, for toxic masculinity. and shit.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I mean that's what they're being taught. They're not being taught history. They're being taught history's being changed. It's like that 1619 project or whatever. I forget what it was, but it's basically where they're perverting history. They're changing everything for this woke agenda. They are. Instead of teaching history as history, they're losing it. Kids aren't being taught. That's the reason the kids don't understand. That's the reason they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason you're saying that a lot of the things that we're seeing now are from the past, and they are.
Yeah.
They are. They were rooted in the past, but the kids aren't being taught that. That's the reason you have the same kids saying, you know what, socialism might be great. You know, like the ones in college. That's the reason why you have, and I heard about this on one of the talk shows, that's the reason you have white kids standing up and apologizing for their white privilege. Really? What white privilege? I mean,
If
Seriously.
there's white privilege, then why am my bank account always in the negative? Because I'm white.
See, you're actually Hispanic, are you not?
Yeah, but I'm not black, so that means I'm white.
So you're white Hispanic. You're white Hispanic.
I'm a
so
white Hispanic.
You're white Hispanic.
So
yeah.
my bank account should be in the positive.
Okay.
And
Well,
it
no,
should be.
because see, you got that white in front of it. So
Oh,
your
yeah.
ethnicity is
Yeah,
Hispanic. So
I have a
But
card.
I'm a black Hispanic, and I don't have anything.
I have a card
But see,
in my wallet
the white
that
is
says
in there
white
somewhere.
privilege.
The
I
white
mean,
is in there
I
somewhere,
bought it
just
from
saying.
those two black guys.
That's the thing, the white's in there somewhere. So hey, it sucks to be you. But anyway.
Like, I don't know. Black people
but
don't
that-
all look the same.
But
I
that-
don't look
right,
like
but
as
that's-
dark as
But that's my point.
other people.
That's my point. All these, they're being taught this. They're being shoveled this. This is being shoved down their throat. And this is where the people, they need to pay attention to what they're doing. They need to get off their ass and vote.
I had to tell you this. So the other day I was on Facebook, and one of the trainees that we hosted one year for Thanksgiving from Lackland, he is on my Facebook, and he is with the Air Force, the Golden Band of the West, right? So he's in California station. And he posted
I'm sorry about that.
something He posted something about the gas prices. He said that, I think he said something about the one good thing about these high gas prices is I don't have to listen to the drift cars at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, going through my neighborhood. And so people were like, yeah, no doubt, da da da. And so I posted a picture of that Joe Biden, I did that sticker that I saw on one of the gas pumps, out there where we live. And this young millennial, probably in his early 20s, named Aaron Montoya, decided that he was going to comment on there, and he said, spoken like an uneducated, white, entitled POS. And so I don't have my picture on my Facebook. I have a picture of my dog, okay? And so I posted back and I said, because I'm not going to debate you that I have a master's degree and you're 20, you don't, but I'm not going to debate it. And I posted back and I said, and then I blocked him. I said, Aaron Montoya, I'm not white, but it's an indication of who you are for assuming. And then I blocked him because I won't have a fight with the grown-ups are speaking. Go to bed, okay? So I wasn't going to do that. But I just thought it was interesting that the first assumption
Went to your wife.
was, well, you're white and you're entitled and you're uneducated, like I'm some sort of, I don't know.
You're trash.
Yeah. What am I? I'm
Trailer
like
trash,
supposed to be like a redneck, stupid hillbilly. I don't know what he was thinking.
Married to your brother.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why I said what I said. And I had multiple people commenting like, high five, ha ha, getting back at him. And I feel like that's and this is something else I heard on one of the talk shows. And I think you said something about this. The Maxine Waters, the Sheila Jacksons, the ones that are calling to react. This is an example of that mindset. If they go against what we believe, right, and they're talking about the Republicans. If the Republicans say something that we don't believe, go out there and target them. Go to their houses, protest on their front lawns, just like they did with some of these Republican people, right? And so that call to action by these millennials, by people who are, Democrat, that they can't have a conversation, like we said, right? And when you start calling them on the carpet, then they get defensive and they want to argue and fight. There's never a reciprocal conversation,
not a conversation. Right? It's always, you know what? Okay, either I don't want to talk to you because I don't have anything intelligent to say, or I'm going to call you racist.
Well, and that's the thing. They once they run out of the talking points, they can't debate.
Yeah.
There is nothing that they can debate. Why do you think they'll never call into here?
Yeah, well,
I mean, seriously.
Same thing with that radio station we're talking about. He's not going to call in because he doesn't have anything to say intelligent other than shut up or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to regurgitate talking points. Well, I mean, you could probably follow. You can make a list and you can follow right down the list. They're going to run down the talking points, and once they're done, you're racist.
You're racist. You're racist.
Evil.
You don't understand because you're racist. Yeah. I wanted to ask you. I know I don't want to get so much off subject, but I wanted to ask you: do you guys know about the statue of Lenin that either they put downtown or they want to put downtown?
What?
Yes, I heard that.
Vladimir.
Yes.
They want to put a statue, or they've already done it. What
yes,
did
they already did it.
Seriously?
They already did it.
Yes.
Yes. To the
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
They took down the statues of
the
like
Confederate
flags,
and
actually a lot of the
one in Travis
presidents
Park
and everything else
is gone.
They've totally destroyed, hidden, and rewritten our history. But they're gonna put up a statue
of Lenin,
of Vladimir Lenin, pretty much the father of communism.
Of
right?
communism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other than Karl Marx,
Yeah.
Wasn't he
that actor? Wasn't he that actor guy?
Karl Marx? No.
No.
Wish he was, but yeah.
No, but yeah, no. They that's what I was reading the other day, that they wanted to, they put that statue up, and to me, he was a mass murderer. I mean,
Yes.
you're,
Well, he
you're
was.
you know,
He was.
why don't we put up a statue of what's that guy's name who had that cross and he was the leader of the
Charles
family?
Manson.
Why don't we put a statue of him up there? Why not? How about Dahmer? He only ate people. He didn't, you know.
Right.
Put a statue of Dahmer up there. Or how about Kaczynski?
He's culinary
you know?
fluid.
I mean,
Culinary fluid.
yeah, pretty much, right? That was good. Kaczynski, he bombed only airplanes and colleges. That's not that bad. He didn't bomb synagogues or anything like that. Let's put a statue of
The
him up there.
Unabomber.
Yeah. So,
He was bomb fluid.
Yeah, he was
Sometimes
bomb-
it was
yeah. Sometimes it was
school.
airplane,
Sometimes
yeah.
it was airplanes.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
I heard that though, because I was listening to the radio on the way in this past week, and they were like, "Are you kidding me?" You know.
Well, and the thing is, with everybody up in arms about, Ukraine, okay, they're doing this. I mean, come on now.
I know.
This is Russia. Everybody's anti-Russia now, right? I mean, that's the end thing, right? Am I
And
missing something?
he was the first leader of the
And that's
of
the
the
thing.
party.
That's the thing. He's the first leader. He's like the
You know,
head.
but I don't
Stupidity at
think
its
that-
finest.
he's like
I
the head
think it's
Russian
because
dude.
people just don't know their history, like you were
That's
saying
it.
earlier. They have
Stupidity
no
at its
idea.
finest.
That's it. Idiocracy, man. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you got to watch it. Idiocracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. Just watch the first.
I'll
first 5
have to
minutes.
watch it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to.
Just watch.
Where the movie that won the Oscar is called Ass,
yes.
and it's literally
Yes.
an hour-long shot of someone's ass.
and farting.
What?
Somebody's ass fart.
That's,
Seriously.
What?
that's the movie that won the
Idiocracy.
Oscar.
Was it a
in
nice looking
Idiocracy.
ass?
No,
I can't even say that.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's just an example of the
Wow.
stupidity
Yeah,
level.
that's where we're heading. seriously.
That's why we say watch that. You know, it's
Wow, people are
it's
just getting dumber and
so
dumber.
yes,
Yeah,
it's
and
just
that's
crazy.
It. And that's it.
yeah,
That-
I
that's
mean,
it. Like
You know,
I said,
once our
just-
generation's gone, I think we're just gonna have a bunch of droolers.
yeah,
Well, and it's kind of you're
and
probably
that's
not far
kind of
off,
how
but-
they are in Idiocracy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it concerns me. It worries me because my grandson is 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't even imagine what the world's going to be like when he's, 17, 18, 19 years old. I can't even imagine.
Now just to throw this in there, our grandparents said the same thing, though. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They,
Oh,
they
yeah.
said, "I can't imagine when
Yeah.
our grandkids, us,
I think every
you know,
generation.
every
says that.
generation." But I truly think it's going to be an extreme jump in because
Yeah.
we've seen it in the last couple of years, the extreme jump in the IQ level just dropping and going down and down.
But if you think about that, you said that every generation has said that. But think about this: since the invention of media,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safe to say that has happened, because then,
Brain cells have gone down.
right, the brain cells have gone down. Plus, it makes it a lot easier to indoctrinate.
I think the elite, the ruling elite, not just the people with the money, the 1%ers,
Yes.
but the people with more intelligence who are not brainwashed are going to be the Amish. Does that make sense to
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah.
The Amish, they don't have radio, they don't have television, so they're not the corrupted ones. They don't
who's
have
the
the
Amish?
kids.
Who's the Amish again? I'm joking.
He's
I'm
joking.
I'm
He's
joking.
The people with
I'm
the
joking.
little hats.
I'm
Your-
joking.
that's
I'm joking.
your new Uber driver.
Yeah,
That's
you're
who it
the
is.
Uber driver.
Yes.
I think they're going to be the ones who are going to be the smart ones in our society because they're not the brainwashed. Their kids aren't
Yes.
brainwashed.
Right.
They're not brainwashed.
But see, they don't
They
believe
know
in media.
Yeah, well, they don't believe in media. They know how to grow their own crops.
Yes.
They know how to do all these things
Yes.
that people have forgotten. One time I took my friend out. He's a city slicker. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say city slicker, right? He's a major city slicker. I took him out to the country, and we spent the night out there at my mom's place out in the country because the next morning I was going to have him help me build my deer blind, right? Which is a little bit bigger than the abyss here, right? So I threw some mattresses down and we went to bed, right? Not together, separate mattresses, but so I take off my shoes and I told him, I said, we're laying there and we're just BSing while we're going to sleep, and I said, hey man, don't forget tomorrow morning, make sure and shake out your shoes because there might be scorpions in there or something like that. What? Oh my God, there's scorpions. What? I don't understand. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I was like, well, okay, you're just a city slicker, no big deal. So then when we go out to build the blind, here I am, I'm measuring the wood and I'm cutting the wood, and I said, hand me the drill. He hands me the hammer. I said, no, the drill, I give him a couple of curse words, dumbass, whatever. Give me the drill. He hands me the screwdriver. And I'm like, what is happening with the intelligence level of people nowadays? Okay, you don't have to be a freaking carpenter to know what a drill is, right? It just
No.
it just keeps going down and down. He's a little bit younger than me, and it just keeps getting worse and worse as time goes on. My daddy never taught me. Have you never seen a commercial? I mean, they use drills in commercials. Home Depot commercial, things like that. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
but the Amish can build a barn.
Yeah, they can.
Quick.
They do. They erect barns for other people in their community as well.
Yeah.
Because they still maintain a principle of living. I mean, and never mind for a second that they don't believe in social media and that kind of thing, but they retain a principle of living that says that you live that meagerly. You don't have all this elaborate stuff. They don't even have buttons on their stuff, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
I thought that was as far as they went as buttons.
No, like that's why they consider that to be something like fancy.
Yeah.
And they're not.
We're not
they're
fanciful people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not like that,
Yeah.
and so their way of living is very, very different. I remember the first time I ever saw them. I lived in Virginia, and it was very far from the base that we were at to get to school, and so our bus ride was a good 45 minutes long. Well, we would go back into the country to pick up people who went to the school because there's only one school in that 30, 40 mile area, and I remember seeing them with the bonnets and the strings that were coming down, and they reminded me of the girls on Little House on the Prairie, and I didn't know what that was because I think I was maybe in the 5th grade.
Witness.
And I didn't know what it was, and I would see them every day, and they were walking cattle, or the little kids were walking to the building because they had their own schoolhouse out there, right? And I would see that they built furniture, and that's how they would make money. They had signs that said Amish furniture, and you could come on certain days and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize, I just didn't know anything
You
about
didn't know it was
them.
a whole community.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Did you ever see that movie, The Village? It was Ron Howard directed it, and his daughter was in it. Watch that movie, The Village. It's actually a really neat movie. It's actually a really good movie, the entire movie. I'm going to kind of spoiler alert here, guys. I'm going to kind of spoil this for you guys. Is that okay if I talk to you about that? Okay. So what it is there's a professor, college professor, William Hurt, who died, by the way. Y'all know that, right? He died
Yeah.
just recently. Okay, died at 71. Well, William Hurt was a professor, and William Hurt said, I'm going to experiment on people, and they're not going to know about it, which is what we kind of talked about last time here, right? I'm going to experiment people, and they're not going to know about it. I want to see what the results are. So what he decided to do is he had some land. Him and a couple of other hippies had some land out in the country, and they raised their kids on that land, and the kids never knew anything about anything else. They were born on the land. They were raised on the land. That was their entire world. They were told never go into the woods, which is, past the clearing, which would be out into the city, close to the roads. Never go out there. There's demons. There's monsters, blah, blah, blah. All they did was live on their little village, live in their little village. That's all it was. And it was, so you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it,
it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. And of course, it was, like I said, William Hurt was in it. Ron Howard directed it. And the parents would actually dress up as like a goat monster,
Yeah, as the
chupacabra,
monster,
stuff
yeah.
like that to scare the kids, to keep them out of the woods, like Sherwood Forest kind of thing, right? And it was just that. And the whole movie, you don't know this because you're in the dark just as well. You don't know that this is not real until at the very end, his daughter happens to wander out. She's blind. She happens to wander out. So she's not scared of the monsters or anything like that, other than what she's been told, because she can't see the monsters in front of her. She's just walking, and she wanders out, and boom, now oh my gosh, this was in the country, but there's roads. This is modern times. So it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. But that's what I'm kind of talking about. If you live a simple life, you know how to do things. You're not inept. You're not one of the people who, like my friend, who doesn't know how to do anything. If the shit hit the fan tomorrow, he would just up and die. Just, he would waste away. He would die. He doesn't know how to grow his own food, doesn't know how to slaughter an animal, doesn't know how to do any of that stuff. He asked me, I've been asked before, how do you kill a deer and clean it? I mean, how can you stomach all that? I said, well, because we have to continue the traditions that our fathers had, and their fathers, and their fathers, and their fathers, and so on, because we do not want to lose those skills. We have to continue those skills. And I want to teach my stepson those skills. I'd love to take him hunting and show him how to slaughter a deer and, process the meat and then cook it up and eat it. I want to teach my stepson how to do that. So these are the things that we need to learn. And I think our society is becoming weaker and weaker and weaker, and we're forgetting all those skills. And it's going to become a day where, we're just the species is going to up and fade away.
Idiocracy. Just saying. Idiocracy. I can't say that enough. Sorry, I'm not getting paid. It's not like on Idiocracy.
This is not an Idiocracy
Carl's Jr. Every time I say Carl's Jr., I'm not getting money. I'm not getting money. Just saying, but yeah.
But, so we've been talking for a long time, and I don't want to keep you guys here way too long. I know y'all got a long drive to go out to the country. But I appreciate you guys coming in. We have had some lively discussion. I've really appreciated it. So
definitely. Thanks for having us.
Hey, guys, this is Ricky Midnight, proudly unpoisoned. God bless America, and God bless Texas.
Thanks for listening to The Uncensored Voice.
Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And remember, on The Uncensored Voice, we tell it like it is.
So be safe, my friends, and may God bless America.